ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's time to think outside the pocket on Saturday Scramble.
What the hell is going on, Bucs fans? Why do we feel like that this is the moment that we can celebrate? This feels like the highlight of the season. What?
On 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
You fired up.
I'm never emotional. I'm very even-keeled. Very cool, calm, and collected.
This is really interesting.
Do you think so?
You
Really?
sure about that?
Really?
You sure about that?
Alongside Riled, here's Pablo Iglesias.
What's poppin', Saturday Scramblers? It's Pablo Iglesias live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Riley Yauk is on assignment. He is with the Grapplers at the Kohl Center all weekend. So make sure that after you listen to the Saturday Scramble, after you tune into Prep Mania, that you also have the simulcast going with WIAA Wrestling. Very excited to see what Riley Yauk and the Grapplers will bring in his place. We are very excited to talk Packers football, the report card, and no better two people to talk about Packer football than a Raiders fan and a Chicago Bears fan. Am I right? If you listen to the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, he is Wally Lukachinsky, and we've got a boatload of things to talk about today. Wally, thank you so much for taking the drive out here. Welcome to the Saturday Scramble in studio. I know you've been also on site before, too.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. When I got here at first, I started looking around. I was telling Owen as I got rolling, it's kind of like having a time traveler in the building today. Because, like, all this technology around me, it almost threw me through a loop. You guys have a gorgeous setup here.
This is the future. This is Back to the Future Part 2. So get ready to watch Jaws 19 in between breaks. We have hoverboards and everything. You know how the deal is over here. That's what we try to do over here at the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studio.
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready for the future there. Owen, it's great to see you too. Pablo, thanks for having me. I'm fired up to be here today.
Yeah, you know what was also hilarious? For all of our Saturday Scramblers out here, if you want to tune into the show on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and also, of course, here on 100.5 ESPN, make sure, too, that you chime into the Garbeless Talk and text line 844-770-3776. List is more. We're talking about Packer report cards, but you know what? To kind of get to know the personalities a little bit, too, Wally, listen, in the best way, and I think, Wally, you could also agree, off the wall, I love the analogies, and I love that you always go with the bit with me, too. So, yes, we will be talking about Packer report cards and, honestly, the troubling view of where Matt LaFleur stands as opposed to last season. But I propose this question. Owen is, unfortunately, not much of a Harry Potter guy, but you are. And we tried to figure out the NFC North teams based off their Hogwarts houses. And I don't believe that the Packers are Gryffindor, but I don't believe they're Slytherin. And I want to get your rationale first. Which of the four houses, for our big Harry Potter fans here, trying to identify based off of their personality traits? Let's dive into this, Wally. I want to get your rationale into this conversation we had earlier.
Green Bay Packers, I'm sorry, Pablo. You're absolutely wrong. They're 100%
no way.
Gryffindor. And I mean this with all the love in the world, Packer fans, but they're the first ones when you're talking, hey, I want to talk a little bit about the NFL. By the way, I'm a Packers fan. There's an incessant pride about being a Packers fan, the history, all the lore with it. And if you are not somebody that is on the Packers side, you typically don't like them whatsoever. So for me, it's no doubt. This is, of course, Packerland. It's Gryffindor. I'm just expecting to get the Albus Dumbledore, Roger Goodell 50 points added to Gryffindor.
No, see, it's I think Albus and the way that if you look at... See, I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with the Bears being Gryffindor, but I'm closer to it, more so in the Harry Potter specific era, for those of you that are deep into the Hogwarts lore, because you have the boy wonder. As much as I want to believe that Jordan Love is the boy wonder quarterback of, let's just say, the NFC North and the division, we can all agree that J.J. McCarthy is probably not. If anything, they're Ravenclaw. But I think the Packers are more so of the Hufflepuff because of the way they go about. They play by the rules.
Hufflepuff?
They do it.
Hufflepuff
They
for
do
Packers?
it. Yes, because if anything, the Green Bay Packers are by the book. They are not a Gryffindor type of where they'll go out and about and try something completely new. They'll go out of left field and they'll try this. Again, you bring in Boy Wonder and Caleb Williams and you hope that he is the chosen one. He's the one that's going to bring you to prosperity. He's the one that's going to bring you all these different types of things. He's the one that people have been talking about for a while. And again, I'm not saying that the Green Bay Packers are Slytherin, even though there's green in that color, but I believe it's more Hufflepuff because of the way that the Green Bay Packers try to stick to the rule book, try to do things every single way. Hufflepuff, being a Hufflepuff myself based off the Pottermore quiz, I follow the rules. I try to make sure I do everything the right way. I'm calculated about it, and that's why I believe the Green Bay Packers, they kind of get in their own way where they do try to follow the rules. They do try to do it by the book, but it has cost them recently.
I think your cheese slid off your cracker if you believe the fact that the Green Bay Packers are Hufflepuff here. There's an obvious Hufflepuff, and it's the Detroit Lions. Because you're talking about the Cedric Diggory's of the world. Look how they were the last 3 years. They've been lauded in front of everybody. This is the team. They're going to take the next step. And even when everybody, it feels like in the country is rooting for them, they find creative ways to hurt themselves. So for me, it was a no doubt. The Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff were the easiest two out here because I think Ravenclaw, to me, most irrelevant house, Minnesota Vikings. Also, colors work pretty well.
Yes.
The Detroit Lions were absolutely that lovable loser that people love to root for, but they're never going to get to the mountaintop, and everybody enjoys to watch them try to get there knowing the eventual result.
844-770-3776, the Carlos Talk text line. List is more. Did not expect this to be our way that we started things off, but you know what it's like when we won or we deferred and we won the coin toss and we wanted to defer and receive it second half and we're kicking the ball. We went with an onside kick to start off and we recovered. That is what feels like this right now. And Owen Dimple, the producer back here behind the glass too. What's up, Dimps? How we doing today?
Doing great. And, you know, I didn't like that onside kick recovery. That just gave me flashbacks.
We recovered it, though. We recovered the onside kick.
Wait, Owen, are you
I'm
a
a Packer fan.
I feel what you're saying now. I got you.
I'm a Packer fan,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
That onside kick really traumatized me.
You got two of them. Which one?
I got to be honest with you too, Owen, because here, this is a trust and circle tree of happiness. I'm with you because the Raiders are irrelevant. They're in the AFC. They play the Packers once every 4 years. So when I moved up here to ESPN Beaver Dam, I am all about rooting for the Packers. There's one day every 4 years for 3 hours I won't be doing it, and it won't matter anyway because the Raiders will end up going 5-12. So I am with you. I thought, by the way, it was all green and gold this year in both of those matchups. I was watching at home, and I couldn't believe it, but I just want you to know this is a safe space. You're not going to be outnumbered here.
Thank you, Wally. I appreciate it.
We've got a diverse amount of trees of fandom. And also, speaking of trees of fandom, too, for our listeners here, Saturday Scramblers. Again, Riley Yauk out helping out with WIAC State Wrestling over at the Kohl Center, which is why Wally Lukachinsky over from our Beaver Dam station is joining us today. Wally, a little bit of your fandom, too, to get the Saturday Scramblers really get to know you. So you mentioned you're a Raiders fan. But where are you from again? Paint us the picture of your fandom real quick, because this is amazing.
Well, the Raiders thing was a real mistake because I'm from Pittsburgh.
We knew that from the beginning.
And I hate myself for it because I grew up in that era of Rich Gannon, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, and I thought everything was going to be sunshine and rainbows. So I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I should have been a Steelers fan, but my family's from Ohio, but I couldn't root for the Bengals. When I was growing up, I couldn't marry myself to Jeff Blake and Achilles Smith. Couldn't do it. So I'm like, I'm not rooting for a division rival. Yeah, I couldn't do Andy Dalton either. Good try, though. But
Carson Palmer?
See, that was after I already was a Raiders fan. I couldn't jump ship.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, again, Raiders, excuse me, not Steelers.
You're already getting confused.
I know. I'm getting all crossed up here.
Oh, sugar.
Raiders, Pirates, Penguins, and I went to Ohio State, so naturally I am an Ohio State fan.
Yes. I loved the segue of I grew up, I was a Pittsburgh I'm a Penguins and a Pirates fan, and my family's from Ohio, so naturally...
We moved to Pittsburgh when I was 1 year old. I was a Yinzer.
I was waiting for the transition of my family's from Ohio, so naturally I'm a Raiders fan.
No, not quite. The Raiders are the only one in there I can't explain, and it's a horrible mistake.
I love that. I love that. Well, it's we'll also talk a little bit about draft and what's ahead too. Our friend Alex Strofe over at the ESPN Milwaukee. Man, I feel so bad for him. I genuinely do. I sent him a text yesterday, and I was hoping that he would get the 135 bench press, and we'll show the videos in a little bit on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen it, it is everywhere on the internet, I'm sure. And yeah, it just hurts. I sent him a text yesterday. I'm like, we're going to get you to bench 135 by Summerfest.
How about 100? Let's start low.
No, we're going big. No, see,
You got to have those benchmarks.
I'm not about the under-promise, over-deliver. If we are over-deliver here at Good Karma Brands, we are going to over-deliver. We're going to shoot for the moon. We're going to shoot for the stars, baby.
Love that.
I am going all the way as much as I can into the atmosphere, into space, as close as I can see. If you guys saw Superman when they made it into the black hole, that's how far in the atmosphere I want to make it. We're getting Alex Strofe well beyond 135.
You're talking about over-doubling what he was able to max yesterday.
Hey.
That's a big goal for a year, Pablo.
If there is a will, there is a way. If there's
Is
a will.
there? With Alex Strofe?
I think so.
I love my man Alex Strofe, but when you watch him in that, I'm not a big fan of the if you weren't athletic, you're not allowed to talk sports, because that's a dumb argument.
It's all over the place.
But there's exceptions to every rule, and I feel like when you see that with Alex, I start wondering. I'm like, Alex, man, what are we doing? I don't know if he's ever played a sport.
Heck, there's a reason he did. I believe he did run in cross country in high school, so he did do that. It's. Go to your point. It's like I love to joke and say there's a reason why I'm not in the field and there's a reason why I'm behind the mic, is because I knew that I was not going to, even though I was about this height around like 11, 12 years old. I was the big old center in grade school basketball. I didn't really grow ever since there. So everybody caught up to me. As much as every team is looking for a 5'11", 6-foot center, I don't think that that's the case. And then my lack of basketball handle started to show up over time. So, yeah, exactly. That is why we're trying to figure out the parallels between what our Harry Potter houses are for the NFC North. I'm still not on board with the Green Bay Packers being Gryffindor.
That's a home run.
That's not a home run.
That's
not.
This division's so easy, and you don't want to hear it, but the Bears are Slytherin.
The Bears are not Slytherin. See, if the shoe fits, so if we want to, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the books, unfortunately I'm going to spoil it. Snape ends up saving the day for Boy Wonder. Just because
Pottermore, I'm a Slytherin guy. I'm a big Slytherin fan.
Okay.
This isn't I'm an anti-Slytherin guy. This is just you need to look in the mirror, Pablo, and realize that you're done in that emerald green when you're wearing that Chicago Bears jersey.
Emerald green is one of my power colors.
Hey, so there you go. It all ties together.
Harry Potter was also a borderline Slytherin.
He was.
He convinced the hats to say otherwise. But unfortunately, the grades are already in, and there's no convincing of what the Green Bay Packers have done and what they look like in terms of what the report cards are. We'll talk about that on the other side. Pablo Iglesias, Wally, Lukachinsky. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Ready to escape a Wisconsin winter? Well, Ho Chunk Gaming Madison is offering up some serious vacay vibes this February. Starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday, February 28th, 24 winners will each select luggage containing a cash prize up to $5,000. At 5 p.m., one grand prize winner will receive $20,000 for an ultimate vacation getaway. You can earn entries every day in February. Next stop, Sunshine. Turn daydreams into departures at
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
They say punters are people too, especially on KBN.
Brian Gutekunst is going to have his best offseason of his entire career. I've been thinking about roster development lately and what Goody has in store for him. And I don't see any way this team can become a title contender unless Goody has the best offseason of his whole career.
Kyle, Brust, and Nordman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text Line. This is more.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
I wasn't sure if I could afford college, and my family couldn't help me. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found financial support beyond tuition. Even fuel, transportation, and technology has been covered. It's incredible that I'll be able to graduate debt-free. My advice to others, don't let financial barriers stop you. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
They say C's get degrees, but do they give you Lombardi trophies? Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky here. This is the Saturday Scramble at 100.5 ESPN Madison, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. In for Riled, once again, Wally Lukachinsky of our ESPN Beaver Dam station. Wally, we talked about this going into it, as we said, a B+, you know what, a C, that gets you a passing grade. But where the Green Bay Packers stand and where certain things just lie based off the grades with the report cards coming out, there's a concerning element here where if you are Titletown and you have these Super Bowl expectations, you get Micah Parsons, you sign Jordan Love the offseason before to a $56 million a year. And granted, these grades are not about the team in itself. It's more about coaching, the facilities, and the overall aura, if you will. But if the Green Bay Packers are ranked 21st out of 32 teams in the NFL, does that concern you?
It's not great, Jim. I tell you that much. We're bottom third if you're looking at this right now. And yes, the lowest grade out there is a C for training room and training staff. Highest grade is an A. There's only one of those. But it's very just milquetoast across the board. There's nothing that really wows you. And part of that, I guess for me, I'm curious about how you fix it as the Packers, because when you're at one of the 30 other teams or 31 other teams out there that have an actual owner, it's really as simple as flipping a check, saying, hey, the locker room is a dump. Well, then we're going to fix up the locker room. With the Green Bay Packers not having an owner and it being just like this board, I know you have people that are acting, they have like a lot of authority in their position. I don't know if anybody has that, just like, hey, by the way, we're just going to dump $5 million into fixing up the locker room or $5 million into making the training facility better. I don't know how that works, so that's a concern. And Pablo, I think you and I, even when we were brainstorming about setting this up, you look around and you see a letter grade, a full letter grade drop for Matt LaFleur's head coaching job. And this is by the way, it's a B-. So when you hear B-, you're like, really? It's not that bad. Let's not panic about it. But these are human beings that are voting. Mm-hmm. So when you look around, last year, there were only 3 grades worse than a B-. There were 3 Cs. People are nice about actually when you're voting on a human being, another individual, they grade with more grace. When you're doing that with like an actual room, it's a lot easier to say this place isn't great. We need to upgrade.
Yep.
A B-, it's one of the worst grades in the entire league. What changed over the last year that he has, whether that be a respect thing, whether that be an authoritarian thing, I don't know, but something changed, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the report card from last year too to have this side by side. Let's probably push out a few of them. Let's say, as much as we want to talk about the team travel, which actually sometimes it does have a little bit more weight than you realize, but let's factor out probably the food and dining area, nutrition, dietitian. Those things are important, but for right now, let's focus on some of those bigger things. Like as you mentioned, last year Matt LaFleur, A- moves down to a B-. We'll get to that. A full letter grade is extremely concerning. One of the other sides though too, let's see. B, treatment of family, B to C+. Again, that one's a category where, you know what, it makes sense, but also so. Team ownership, though, stays at an A-, which I do feel like is a good thing.
How do you vote on that? Like, who are you looking at?
Right. Well, I guess it comes down to, for the team ownership side, though, I mean, if you could think about it, whether it's communication, how the overall organization respects each player. I mean, you could make an argument of that. I'd love to get to see maybe Dimps if you want to take a look at what the team ownership category entails for this report card, what that might look like, and how that criteria is judged.
It's crystal clear for 31 teams, though. Where
Sure.
You're like, hey, it's this person, maybe the immediate family coming off it.
Mm-hmm.
For the Green Bay Packers, it's a wide range of people that are wealthy and powerful at the top of that mountaintop. That's how I don't know how you judge that, because if you're getting treated well in the facility, where does that line of front office switch over into ownership with the way the players are voting in the Packers organization?
Yeah, it seems like for the most part that as I go through all of these, wow, the Minnesota Vikings A+. A+ in team ownership.
They grade really well year to year. They're another one of these teams. Miami's another one that always seems to be really high.
Apparently the Patriots' the home game field sucks. They get a D.
Well, it's funny you bring
also,
up the Patriots.
Don't be a Patriots player and expect a gourmet meals, a D+.
What's
more degrading, a D+ or a D, real quick? I mean, just in general, doesn't a D+, like, granted, there's a plus next to it, but I don't think it makes you feel any better.
I think it's better than getting an F-. That's like an extra slap in the face. When you actually have the F- back.
Giants have an F-.
When you have an F-, it's time.
And the Jets.
You got to look in the mirror. We got problems. I mean, an F's not good enough for some of these. That's where we're at. Not great. F- last year you had for the Cardinals locker room, and immediately the owner goes and fixes it. That is what these report cards are for, and I know the owners don't like them out there, but as a fan, I absolutely adore that these are out.
This is interesting because, again, I've seen for the most part some organizations that surprise me being in the A range, but Tennessee Titans with a C, bless you. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the D with ownership. It does make you think where you do value at least that, again, the Green Bay Packers, as I went back to in the first part of the segment where we compared Hogwarts houses to the NFC North, I still feel like that the Green Bay Packers are the Hufflepuff of the NFC North.
You're so wrong.
Based off of the team ownership. And again, doing things the right way, you're in that A category. People know you for that brand. People know that you do things the right way. You come to the Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons even said, whether it was Matt LaFleur or the fact that he was wearing green and gold as a whole, that clearly he was going to waive the no-trade clause and come to the Green Bay Packers because of their status, because of what they've known to be. But how can
You're describing Gryffindor.
That's not what Gryffindor is,
their
though.
Status, their legacy, them being one of these like Tiffany franchises. Yes, that is literally what Green Bay is. Green Bay is everything that Gryffindor is in that book. And then on the flip side, your Slytherin Chicago Bears, they got Soldier Fear. That is the dungeons down there. Caleb Williams, you're pitting it as like he could be Harry Potter. He's this chosen boy. What if he's Draco Malfoy?
We're in the first book right now.
Well, that's the thing. What if he's Draco Malfoy? A kid that you high expectations for. You got a phenomenal coach in Ben Johnson, Severus Snape in the same line set here. And then you go out, and what happens if he does fall short and doesn't get over the finish line? We don't know where this is at. This is the first book. But for me, my betting money is that this is going to be Slytherin. They talk about the past. They talk about how proud they are to be Bears fans. You're describing it to a T.
I feel like that this is closer to a Hufflepuff argument. But let's bring this back here and talk about the Matt LaFleur side of this. Again, it's good to see that the Green Bay Packers did not lose a letter grade in the team ownership. If anything, stayed the same. You'd rather at least see, if it's not progress, at the very least, at the minimum, you are exactly where you were last season based off the grading. But the concern of dropping a letter grade, and I want to hear from you also out there, 844-770-3776, the Cardless Talking text line. List is more. Pablo Iglesias, Wally, Lukachinsky here in the Saturday Scramble as we go through the Packers report card and what the team has said. And to remind everybody, I believe these were taken somewhere in November, too. So, Dimps, I want to check in with you, too. Have you found out what the team ownership category is, how teams are able to grade on that? Curious, what that criteria is.
Yeah, so going back to your question on the dates, I did see on an ESPN article that these reports the surveys were gathered between November 2nd and December 11th.
Okay.
So the most interesting part about that is that was before the 5-game losing streak for the Packers, too. So that's an interesting take on it as well. I did a quick search. I really couldn't find much on the specific criteria, but I did find, a methodology that was part of an article released by the NFLPA last year, so I don't know if this has changed or not, but it gives a weighted scale, and almost every scale is evenly distributed, like 6, 9%, 10%. Club owner is the highest one at 15%. So that considers the biggest weight of the overall grade.
So a lot of teams respect the club ownership, it seems like, outside of the few outliers, as I mentioned. I think Tennessee, I want to say where the Steelers were at was really concerning. They're 32nd out of 32.
And that's an old school, real respected family around what circles in fandom out there, the Rooney family.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. But Owen brings up a really good point that I'd love to dive in a little bit more. And you know what? Let's do this on the other side because I love the thought of what does that mean for the Green Bay Packers. If this survey and the B- came in around that time where before the Packers hit that 5-game losing streak, I want to think about this some more. I want to hear from you again. 844-770-3776. The Cardless Talking text line. List is more. We also have a poll question out on our Twitter poll as well. This is my Twitter poll that I am pulling up in front of me, so I will make sure that I have. There we go. We're on the right account. Is the Green Bay standard slipping? You could vote right now on the ESPN Madison X poll. Is the Green Bay standard slipping? And you're going to be shocked to see what these results are. It's not close. We'll talk about that on the other side. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. This is Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
My husband had purchased something at another store. He was very unhappy with the quality of it. We went into Chalmers and just started looking around and kind of got inspired to do something together that was unique for us.
It really isn't any more expensive to do a one-of-a-kind custom piece.
I love it. It's beautiful. I get a lot of compliments on it.
Turned out how I hoped it would.
It really makes me feel good to wear.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He is coaching for his job in 2026. Why would you want to have A.J. Brown on this team if you have to worry about this guy going on a Twitch stream or going on social media? You wouldn't want to do that. You don't want people that are supposed to be helping you to do the job second-guessing your leadership.
Unsportsmanlike.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Your seat at the table just got better. Step into the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. This is true high-limit play. Experience enhanced game rules, including blackjack where the dealer stands on soft 17. Better odds, faster play, and authentic action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Your next hand could be your best yet. Find your edge, play your rhythm, and raise the stakes in the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker Pizza is back. For just $10 for a limited time, get an extra large pizza with 6 huge slices so big you have to fold them. Load it up with your favorite toppings, like the classic and crispy pepperoni. It's the perfect way to feed the crew with giant slices and one legendary vibe. Big size, big value, just $10. Head to one of their locations. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut. Feed good times.
Bud Light's Mini Hoops Mania is back in the Madison area. Get in on the action at W Thursday, March 5th at 9 p.m. One lucky winner will be heading to Vegas for a chance to win $10,000. Also find Bud Light at Chasers 2.0, Jay's, and Wando's. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 plus. Begins 1/6/26 and ends 3/20/2026. Multiple entry periods. Visit BudLight.com/MiniHoopsMania rules for official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. But you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Toscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing: a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Wally, what's on your bucket list of venues that you would like to attend to? If you can give me, real quick, let's say, just give me one. One venue, wherever, if it's a matchup, where do you want to go? If I gave you that question right now.
Any venue.
Any venue in sports.
The one that jumps out to me is MSG.
MSG.
The history, being able to walk in, I feel like there's something special. It's what makes like Lambeau so special. You walk in, you can feel years and years of history and the players that had preceded you, and in that case, the wonderful performers over there that are also doing concerts at MSG. I feel like you can feel the history.
I got to feel like Wembley Stadium for
That's
me.
a good one.
Wembley Stadium.
But it's new, right? This is
the new Wembley
one?
Stadium,
Okay.
yes. If I could be in the 1985 Live Aid for Queen when they just rocked the house, they were the rock stars of the rock stars in that venue in that moment, that would have been electric. But Wembley Stadium Champions League would be electric. Later coming up today, we've got Virginia Cavaliers and Duke Blue Devils. Ryan Wollersheim is in Cameron Indoor, which I feel like is a great bucket list item. But Wally, you mentioned Lambeau Field. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Continuing our talk about the Packers report card, where they stand. They're 21st overall based off the 32 teams. And Lambeau Field is a C+ in terms of the home game field, according to this player survey. So that's interesting, but I want to dive into a little bit more because Owen Dimfel on the other side, too, as we talked about, diving into the grades, the 5-game losing streak. This survey was taken before the 5-game losing streak, and what concerns me is that B- was before the Packers ultimately had a collapse. And yes, you lose Micah Parsons, you lose Jordan Love to that concussion against Chicago, but still, where do the Green Bay Packers stand? And if they did not have that much faith in mid-November, if Matt LaFleur drops a whole letter grade in November, I wonder where he's at now.
I think that when you look at this entire list of the criteria that they have here, there are 5 that would have changed had this been after the fact. And those are all tied to individuals: head coach, general manager, offense and defensive, and special teams coordinator. I think that those could have taken a hit, but I don't believe that you're going to see anything from like treatment of family, stuff like that. I don't think that changes at all there. But maybe the respect to your coaching staff, maybe the respect to your front office, who has put together this team in front of you. I think those are the type of people that could see a fall there. But I really don't think beyond that it really would have changed all that much, Pablo.
Yeah, it just feels weird to me that again, yeah, the facilities, you can't change that in a few weeks. But even though the locker room is an A, and there was talk swirling around of whether or not Matt LaFleur is the right guy, let me ask you this: do you feel like, even amidst you see those results, you see the way that the Packers season ended, you fall 2 times to your bitter rival that seems like that they're on the uprising in an already competitive NFC North. Do you feel like that Matt LaFleur is the guy?
No. I have been very adamant about this on my own show, the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. But to me, that someone had to, the head of the snake had to go. Mm-hmm. After the way those 2 Packers-Bears games went down the stretch where, let's just call it like it is, the Packers dominated large stretches of those games. And it took the final 5 minutes of that final regular season with the Bears, and it took that just implosion in the second half to get the Bears back into that playoff game. That, to me, is a reflection on the coaching staff. And I know people are out there saying, well, this team is injured, this team's banged up. You're not going to believe this, but everybody plays full seasons. Injuries happen on every team. If you're winning by 3 scores at halftime in the playoffs, I don't care who's on your team. You have to win that game. And to me, someone has to pay. A culture change at some point has to happen, because right now I feel like there's a little bit of a complacency. And to me, that is it's a problem that you can't just make go away. You got to cut that out and start healing.
I loved the word that you used, complacency, and again, I'll hammer this home. You heard this in the first segment where we compared the Harry Potter houses and why I believe the Packers are not the Gryffindor that, as much as you'd love to believe that they are the creme de la creme of the house, it's more of a Hufflepuff because of the way that they go about things recently. It's about how they play by the rules and do it by the book. And there's nothing wrong with doing it by the book. As I said, too, I am a Hufflepuff myself. Based off the quiz. And for those wondering what gibberish I'm speaking or what parcel tongue, for those Harry Potter fans or not Harry Potter fans, comparing the personality traits of what all 4 houses in this book series are. Hogwarts or Gryffindor, typically you're more courageous. Slytherin, smart, cunning. But a little, cunning ambitious. Is a perfect word. Ravenclaw is your smart group, but very quiet and reserved to themselves. And Hufflepuff,
we'll take you all. We'll take you all.
No, they're not the "we'll take you all."
That is literally what Helga Hufflepuff's quote is. Like, we'll take the rest. If you're not one of the others, we have a home for you. We love you here.
They are inclusive, and I am inclusive. But
it's like, I have an example of that.
Yeah.
When I went to school at Bradley, I had
Go
a roommate. Braves. Yeah, roll Braves. I had a roommate who was from Puerto Rico. And
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and so, like, obviously NFL isn't as big down there as other sports. And so my senior year, so it would have been last year, the 49ers played at Lambeau against the Packers. My other roommate was a 49ers fan. And since it was our final year together, we were like, let's go up to Lambeau. He's never been to Lambeau before. I was like, let's go up to Lambeau. Let's go to the Niners-Packers game. And then our other roommate,
that poor
he was
guy.
like, it was a rough one.
He's a real one.
He spoke very highly of it. He said he loved his experience.
Okay,
there.
good.
Yeah, but anyway, our other roommate was like, I'd like to go as well. Like, I've never been to a football game. I want to go to a football game. So we're like, perfect. Let's go. Let's show you Lambeau for your first ever football experience.
That's unbelievable. First ever experience is Lambeau Field.
Yes.
How do you go? That's like the worst thing you can do to the guy, because now he's going to start going to other stadiums and be like, what, this is what we're doing now?
Oh, I feel like that's how we all fell in love with sports. I was 10 and the White Sox win the World Series. That's the whole reason why I'm here. You think when you're 10 years old and you're the second city, second team wins the World Series, it all goes up from here. But don't worry, in my lifetime, I've seen my team be a World Series champion and the worst team in Major League Baseball history. Owen, though, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, he had a great time. I gave him one of my old Aaron Rodgers jerseys. He visited the pro shop. He got a Lambeau Field hat. I mean, he adopted the Packers as his NFL team. He's not a big football fan, and he still isn't, but if he's going to call himself a fan, he's going to associate himself with the Packers. So I take full responsibility in converting him to Packers fan.
Grow the game. Way to go, Owen.
That's growing the game right there. But we bring this back here. Pablo Iglesias. I was about to call you Riley Yauk.
You can call me Riley if you want.
We could call you Riley Yauk, but Riley Yauk is actually at the Kohl Center covering WIA State Wrestling. So in his place, it's Wally Lukachinsky from ESPN Beaver Dam. We're continuing the conversation of where we feel like the Packers are, and I want to get back to the word that you said, Wally, of complacency. I want to think about what the next steps are, and we look deeper into this report card here. And again, I want to hear from you, also into the ESPN Madison YouTube chat. And hey, shout out to Jay Leon. You are right about Alex Strofe. I don't want to dive too much into his. I don't want to speak for him, is what I say, from his medical history. I do believe he does have some heart issues. So we'll make sure that yes, we do want to not push on that one too. Everybody's got their own things, but respect you for bringing that up because it is true. But going back to the Packers report card, the position coaches B+, the offensive coordinator at a C, defensive coordinator at an A-, but that's also concerning because you lose Jeff Hafley. And I did actually, so I reached out to a friend who covered the Philadelphia Eagles during their Super Bowl run, and he did give Jonathan Gannon high praises as a DC. So I will say, as somebody who was skeptic about it, it seems like that even though as a failed head coach, as a defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon could be the guy. So again, this DC grade, though, is based off of Jeff Hafley. I think that could stay in the same realm, assuming that he brings the same type of intensity despite the memes. Special teams coordinator, a B+, though. And you lose a B+, even though you wanted everything to be an A. Rich Bisaccia was known to instill a culture. He was known to be a good guy into this locker room. And now you get a guy who was an assistant coach with the Giants, 9th best special teams in the league. Where does that go from here? Those are the things that I'm starting to think about now. If you're already at a B+ in terms of the position coaches, where do you go from here?
Well, I think it's interesting and important to note, too, that as you said, with Jeff Hafley going and Rich Bisaccia going, the only two coordinators that are off this team were not Packers' decisions. These were coaches that left at this point with Rich Bisaccia under his own free will, own decision-making. I do find it interesting, though, that he got a B+. Rich Bisaccia I'm speaking about, because the special teams simply haven't been good for the Packers. They haven't been good for 15 years. So, yeah, everybody loved him in that locker room. Everything you hear, leader of men, a guy that the word you used, culture. He builds a healthy one wherever he goes. I remember when he was the interim with the Raiders, he was beloved.
Everybody loved him.
Everybody loved him. And even this year, when people in the media were asking questions about, hey, what do you think about Rich Bisaccia? Maybe we need to make a change here. The players went to bat for him every single time. But if the results improve, which, just to be frankly honest with you, it's going to be hard for them not to this next year. I don't know how you don't give this guy a shot, regardless of the background, or if he's going to be an associate head coach like Rich Bisaccia. This is going to be, to me, one of the biggest things that can push them over the top next year. This is an important element to football that nobody talks about, and the special teams just simply haven't been good enough.
So I was able to find on the NFLPA website a little bit more into, this is for last year's report cards, but it still gives the idea of like what players were asked and when they were surveyed, what the criteria was. So with Matt LaFleur receiving an A- last year, still, which is interesting, 20th out of the 32 teams, an A-, which, hey, sounds like there were a lot of great coaches last season, apparently. I can tell you one team, too, in the NFC North that did not have a great season in their head coach. That's why he got to spend Thanksgiving with his family and was okay there. But the Green Bay Packers with Matt LaFleur, 93% of the Packers feel their head coach, Matt LaFleur, is efficient with their time, which, again, ranks 18th out of 32. The players feel that Matt LaFleur is moderately receptive to locker room feedback on the team needs. Moderately receptive, and you received an A- last year. So if he's moderately receptive, what does that mean? And I know we're kind of jumping into a rabbit hole here of trying to figure out what the heck all these survey results mean. But it is interesting, when efficient with your time. You think about those like small intricacies. What is Matt LaFleur doing? Is he? You want to believe that he's communicating with the players, which I still believe that's the case. Everybody's on his side. But how do the players truly feel when they're asked honestly? And you're getting a B- in 3/4 of the way into the season? That just feels like an alarm to me still.
Yeah, it is an alarm, and I think that something can be said as well for the guys like LaFleur, the guys like McDaniel last year, where when you are the smartest guy in the room and things are going well, people really want to be around you. They like to hear what you have to say. When things start going poorly and you still are that highly intelligent and you speak highly intelligently, I think that it can kind of rub people the wrong way. And in a locker room this year where you're seeing high expectations for the Packers,
Yes.
it was Super Bowl or bust. Let's not pretend it was anything else. To have the same kind of, we're going to go back and watch the film, and the curt responses, I do think that can rub a grown man the wrong way, especially when you're all fighting for the same thing.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. It's where can you, because you can't force Matt LaFleur to, as much as you see Ben Johnson the fire and blank the Packers, and even though I will defend ripping off the shirt in the locker room because, hey, it fed a city. Gave him free hot dogs for a little bit. That's where I'm going to defend a little bit there. So if you're against a city getting free food, then I don't know what else to tell you. But anyway, you can't force Matt LaFleur to be Ben Johnson. You can't force him to be a Dan Campbell. You can't force him to be Kevin O'Connell. Everybody has to be themselves. But the question is being himself, I don't want to say it this way, but it's just more of, is being himself enough almost? Or what else can Matt LaFleur do? Is it even just all on him? And I don't know if it's just like he has to change himself. Like, what can he do with the staff, with Jonathan Gannon, with the it's Cam McCord, I believe, is the new special teams coordinator. He's gonna be an unknown. He's gonna be a guy that's coming out of the woodworks. We'll see if he can prove himself. Matt LaFleur's done a good job of bringing in some guys who have been able to prove himself. Hence, Jeff Hafley went on and moved to get a head coaching job. So we'll see. But Wally, you mentioned what the locker room looks like, and I want to dive in because it is Combine weekend. It's also exciting to see that Wisconsin's Mason Reiger is starting to turn some heads. I believe he's like ranked second somewhere in the high jump out of everybody so far. And right now, based off of team ownership, where the Packers are, they have the same grade. The Packers still believe, at least based off the grades here, that the organization is extremely committed to building a competitive team, hence why they got that grade last year, which is why they got the same grade this year. Let's talk about the draft, Combine, maybe a little bit of stroke too on the other side. This is a Saturday Scramble. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
I worried that I couldn't work a full-time job and still have time for college. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found my stride. My classes are flexible and hands-on, and I walk on campus feeling inspired. My advice to others? Make your dreams a reality. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Love is in the air this February at Metro Ford of Madison, and if you're ready for a relationship that can handle anything, meet the 2025 Bronco Sport. Right now, get 3.9% APR for 66 months, just $16.86 per thousand finance, plus $1,000 retail bonus cash. Or lease a Bronco Sport for just $319 a month with 10% down. But don't wait. This sweetheart of a deal ends March 2nd. Find your one true love today at MetroFordofMadison.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joseph Henningsen with Stoughton Health Ortho Team Clinic. I specialize in joint pain and joint pain surgery, specifically hip and knee replacement, including second-time surgery for hip and knee replacement.
Learn more at orthoteam.com.
Trent here from Canopy Wealth Management. We're often asked, when's the right time to work with a financial advisor? The answer is always simple, now. Whether you're building wealth, nearing retirement, or already retired, the Canopy team can help you gain clarity around your goals, resources, and path to financial independence. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's our promise. Get started at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life. Hey, my name is Stacy Bruner. I was Bucky Badger from 2010 to 2014. My most memorable sports moment was running out the flag at the 2013 Rose Bowl versus Stanford. Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Every act of change begins with a neighbor. When neighbors connect through the Feeding America network, small actions ripple into lasting impact. Feeding America, led by neighbors. Take action to end hunger now at feedingamerica.org.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Matt LaFleur is Cedric Diggory. Not my words. The words on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Pablo Iglesias, Wally, Lukachinsky. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN Madison, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. As I mentioned, we have a comment on the ESPN Madison YouTube comments. This is coming from Michael. He says, Matt LaFleur is Cedric Diggory. The talent is there, but he does not have a killer instinct. The Packers are Hufflepuff.
Incorrect.
Play my music. What is my music? That is the question. Do we have music yet? Do I
music?
I don't know. I just wanted to be cool and dramatic.
We've never went over this, Pablo.
Pablo has his own play-by music.
I have a drum roll if you want that. It was from last week's check-in.
This is great communication. This is great teamwork here. All right, we were at the one, and I called in the offensive lineman to take the ball, and he fumbles it. So
I love that.
I tell you,
Mike. Sorry, Wally.
No, I was going to say, I appreciate Michael chiming in. It is very nice of you. Michael, you're so off base. And I'm so happy we're going to have Jesse Nelson on the show before too long here.
Yeah.
Because he came in during the break, and he could not have agreed with me more. So we're at an even score out there right now, Pablo. We got to keep hearing from people. But I'm telling you, it's not even a question who Gryffindor is. It's the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know. I'm still very much on the Hufflepuff play by the rules. I'm really curious to see what Jesse Nelson will say. He did just come into the office. He will be joining us later on the Saturday Scramble too to talk about WIAC Wednesday. WIAC or WIAC, which is still, I feel like, a controversial topic. It's not WIAC. That's for sure. But WIAC versus WIAC, we'll talk with him about that at some point, too, when he joins here on the Saturday Scramble. And there's some egregious Packers takes outside of that one, too, that he also has later up in the show. But we wrapped up the last part of the last segment of this show talking about the next level for the Green Bay Packers. It's Combine Weekend. Wally, your bad boy Raiders will now become the well-behaved boys with Fernando Mendoza most likely being the first overall pick.
Let's hope.
How do you feel about that real quick?
He's a prince that's promised. At this point, you need a culture change. This has been a disaster for 25 years. I just need to have a reason for hope. So it has to be Fernando. It was Fernando and nothing else.
There was something in the air that night. And the stars are bright.
It's going to be my number one song on Spotify to wrap this next year. I have listened to Fernando a million times.
The question is how are you watching the Combine? How are you watching the talent evaluation? Because clearly, again, I want to call them the Oakland Raiders. I still need to get used to the Vegas Raiders.
They need to go back to Oakland, but it'll never happen.
They need to go back to L.A.
Well, I mean, it was Oakland first.
That's where it is. Oakland and L.A., this whole state of California embraces the Raider culture. When I was out there in 2016, they love the Raiders. And, you got the Rams and you got the Chargers, but there's something about Raider culture that is just ingrained.
Raider Nation, baby.
In California. So you already know that your quarterback is, you check the box there. But as a Raider fan, as a football fan across the board, as with the Chicago Bears, like what the Bears would probably need is more of a defensive edge pass rush. The Minnesota Vikings, are they going to, as they mentioned, J.J. McCarthy is the starter for now, but they're also evaluating what the room looks like. Is it going to be a late quarterback? But looking at the Packers, you don't have your first-round pick, which is already something that you lost with Micah Parsons. You're probably going to lose Malik Willis, more than likely, and good for him because he'll get his payday. But you have to figure out, the good thing for Goody, at least, is unless they get in a trade, you've whiffed on so many first-round picks, outside of probably Jordan Love, maybe Jair Alexander, but otherwise, your first-round picks have stunk. So what the heck do you focus on if you're the Green Bay Packers?
Well, first of all, it's funny that you bring that up because I saw a tweet last night. It was what's going to happen when Goody's picking at 52 and the guy he was going to take at 20 is still there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the moral of the story, it feels like, in his regime. And I, as a Raiders fan, can almost tell you this is the perfect time for someone like me to come on here because the scouting combine...
Well, it's always great to have you on here.
Well, you're way too nice to me, Pablo. But the scouting combine is a cautionary tale because what happens every single year, there's a couple owners out there that see somebody run a 4.2 40, that see somebody jump 51 inches on the vertical, that have an insane 3-cone time drill, and then they fall in love with numbers and they don't fall in love with what they saw on the football field. You have to, at some point, draft football players. And Owen, you were talking a little bit with me during the break, and Pablo, can you tell us your stance on what you need to see out of the scouting combine?
Yeah, there's really nothing that I need to see out of the combine. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but the combine shows how good of an athlete all these individual prospects are.
Yep.
Show me what you can do on a football field in a real play, a real game time speed. I go back to John Ross III.
Oh, great one.
Great
What
poll.
was that? 2015, 16, somewhere around there?
Right, that was the Mahomes draft, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mahomes was 2017.
Okay.
I remember that draft vividly.
Who
Don't
was
you worry.
taken right after John Ross III? Because I feel like there was a big name that was like 1 or 2 picks after. Because, again, family from Cincy. My dad was having a meltdown.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know when he broke the 40-yard dash record at that time, I know Xavier Worthy has it now. And Xavier Worthy isn't the perfect example for what I'm about to say, but John Ross is out of the league, I believe. Everybody fell in love with his 40-yard dash. Rightfully so. He was super fast. Was he a good receiver? No, he wasn't. And that's what ultimately, I even forget who took him. Was it the Bengals?
The Bengals took him, and I think he probably had like 15 catches in his career.
Yeah, I mean, and he was like a top 10 pick. Like, that's just... He got drafted top 10 for his speed, not for his wide receiver skills. That's the problem I have with the combine.
It's cool to get to see the numbers. It's very interesting. Again, you see your Mason Rigers he's come from Wisconsin, and it's awesome. Like, he played at Louisville, and you never know. You never know if you have a true diamond in the rough, or you never know what happens when guys really show up and ball out, and truly getting the invitation in itself to the combine is impressive, but that doesn't guarantee draft status either. I mean, I know Wisconsin Badgers over the years that have received invites and not gotten drafted, but ended up signing UDFAs and all that. So to your point, Owen, again, you're rooting more so for these different headlines, right? You get to see what John Ross's 40 time is. You get to see if X player from the non-Power 4 school and what they bench pressed. Oh, this guy's going to be legit. This guy's going to be a dog. But when it all comes down to it, the RAS score is great. But how does that truly translate onto the football field? And it seems like, again, that Goody is overly invested in RAS score. It's almost like when you it's like the Moneyball theory in a way, in a different sense of you want to go by the numbers and you want to stick to it. And it's like when they tried to move, I remember the scene when they tried to move Scott Hatteberg from a catcher over to first base. And here's what the stats look like. This is the reason why we want you here. And as much as you want to feel like that it is a plug and play, it's not a video game at the end of the day too. And I think that almost translated in a different way for the Green Bay Packers. As much as you have these guys who are skilled players, your Rashawn Garys, and you trade Kenny Clark, but the way that you built this team, you think that it'll be like this based off their numbers and what their productivity is, but you also got to think about personalities too. You got to think about how all this works and all the intricacies here. Because, again, it's not a video game, man. As much as I'd love to play things on freshman mode or rookie, this is the NFL, man. This is real life.
It's on all Madden.
Exactly.
It's on all Madden. And this time, year two, especially when you're picking your first pick in the second round, it is such a dangerous zone because the second round is so often the guys that have the intangibles of a first-round pick that they didn't see the production on the football field. And it's that old meme of the, you know what, nobody could fix them, but maybe we can.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that teams fall into that trap every single year. I'm a Buckeye fan. One of the guys that I saw have a monster day yesterday was Lorenzo Styles. He stuck out like a sore thumb on the football field last year, and now people are like, hey, you know what? Everything is there. We can teach him to be a good football player. He has everything there. I just don't buy into that this time of year. You got to draft guys that were able to produce on the football field. And before I throw it over there, fun fact for you, John Ross was picked one pick before Patrick Mahomes. Tough.
One pick before Patrick Mahomes. Anything else with Owen Dimful behind the glass? He does have the 2017 draft class. Anything else stand out to you, Owen?
Well, I think everybody knows that 2017 was a very good draft class.
Yeah, it was great.
Top to bottom, except for that 9th spot with John Ross.
It's a loaded pick out here. All right, and you go through, it's just like high-level pro after high-level pro. I mean, listen to some of these names. We got, this is the Myles Garrett draft.
Yep.
This is the Jamal Adams was a flash in the pan. Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore, Deshaun Watson before he went to hell in a handbasket, Deshaun Reddick. I mean, you can go down the list, Marlon Humphrey. And that's the first half of the first round.
This pains me so much just looking at this. At lovely number 2 of Mitchell Trubisky.
I was trying to glaze past that for you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But I can say as a Packers fan, too, this is also the draft where the Packers traded out of the first round, selected Kevin King with their first second-round pick, and you know who they passed on? T.J. Watt.
Yeah. That's tough.
That's at least TJ's not from the area or anything, so there's nothing there.
That would have been a nice story, right? If you get a guy from the area that wanted to play for the Packers, that probably is a position that's top tier to get if you have a top tier performer and you know what, that you're probably lacking in too. Man,
you can't blame him though. It's not like he comes from a good bloodline or anything that would have already had players in the league related to him at a high level, so nothing to worry about.
No other connections to the state. It's almost like, you know, hey, maybe he played college ball here too. It's not like he had to go far. You would have had a big old story and everything. You would have had maybe jersey. You wouldn't have had jersey sales that go through the roof. I don't know. Would have been good. Would have been good.
Something to chew on.
Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. I keep wanting to call you Riley. It's just because I'm used to the reps and everything, but very, very excited that we have Wally Lukachinsky here filling in for Riley Yauk, who is helping out WIA State Wrestling on the play-by-play side. Wally, we always love having you here. We'll continue the 11 o'clock hour of the Saturday Scramble next year at 100.5 ESPN.
Gruber Law Offices. One call. That's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Wisconsin is coming together for a story that will touch everyone. A Road at Night is a documentary chronicling former Badgers player and coach Howard Moore and the 2019 tragedy that forever changed his family. You can see it on the big screen at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison or Marcus Majestic in Brookfield through March 5th. One story, one community, A Road at Night. Now through March 5th in Madison and Brookfield. All proceeds support Howard Moore's ongoing care. Find showtimes and get tickets at aroadatnight.com. That's aroadatnight.com.
This is Badger basketball coach Greg Gard.
Wisconsin wins the Big Ten.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
It's time to think outside the pocket on Saturday Scramble.
So many NBA fans are ridiculous. Oh, I'm a Kevin Durant fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I have a Lakers jersey, a Heat jersey, a Cavs jersey. I just follow the players. That's stupid. Cheer for your team. Cheer for your hometown team.
Put some respect to the name.
On 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
When the sun goes down on my side of town.
Alongside Riley Oak, here's Pablo Iglesias.
What's poppin', Saturday Scramblers? It is hour 2 of the Saturday Scramble here on 100.5 ESPN Madison, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. I'm Pablo Iglesias alongside Wally Lukachinsky, who is pinch hitting for Riley Oak, who is with the Grapplers over at the Kohl Center. I loved the conversation, too, from Jim, Matt, and Molly yesterday. Dimps, I know you were filling in. Owen Dimple behind the glass. Which parents get the rowdiest at the state championships? I feel like, I'm not going to lie, the basketball parents, when they're here, too, they're another group. I don't know what hockey looks like because, you know, hockey is all over. Yeah, don't forget to turn on your mic there, Wally.
It's a new world out here. The fanatical the hockey fans are.
So interesting stuff, but I feel like the wrestling parents could be getting after it too. Either way, it's going to be a packed Kohl Center. It's going to be packed downtown. Probably going to stay away from campus. But we got a Prep Mania game anyway tonight. And you want to know something before we get into the other side of we start a new month in just a little bit because I love what's coming up next thanks to Wally Lukachinsky. I put into ChatGPT to settle this debate of what the NFC North houses look like based off their Hogwarts, descriptions. And Wally called me out and said it needs to make sure it's unbiased, as straightforward as possible. So here's the prompt to make sure.
Okay.
If you were to give Hogwarts house assignments to the NFC North teams, what would you do? And please give brief explanations. So, Minnesota Vikings, Ravenclaw, high ceilings, big brains, sometimes a little tortured.
Okay. Agreed.
Detroit Lions, Gryffindor.
Okay, all right, this is where Will Smith and iRobot might have been onto something.
Finally stepping into their brave era. Years of heartbreaks and now fearless, aggressive, biting kneecaps and going for it on fourth down. Dan Campbell is basically wearing a scarlet cap already. So that puts Hufflepuff and Slytherin up for the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. What do you think the machine gave the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers? Again, Hufflepuff and Slytherin are up for grabs.
Well, they just
Which
gave
would you rather
Gryffindor to Detroit, so I can't trust this whatsoever. So that makes me think it's going to side with you. The way you're, the attitude and a little swagger you have coming in here.
See, I feel indifferent because I for sure know that. Let me tell you this. The Chicago Bears, Hufflepuff, loyal to a fault. Bears fans, stay on the roller coaster no matter how chaotic things get. Blue-collar identity, proud history, tough in the trenches, and it's not always flashy, but the loyalty and the grind are elite Hufflepuff energy. So that means the Green Bay Packers, the Snakes, fits with green too. Slytherin, historic, calculating, and quietly a little smug. Small market, massive legacy, and somehow they just keep, quote, lucking into Hall of Fame QBs. That was close. I was almost
lucking into.
We almost needed the dump there. Don't worry. I wanted to make sure we had the dramatic pause. And then continued. That's not luck. That's long game strategy. Very, quote, legacy house vibes. Jesse Nelson will be joining us, too, in a little bit. I'm curious to see, based off of, like I said, the machine. We all have our opinions, but the machine has spoken. We'll see what he has to say.
This is why human intelligence matters. I'm sticking with the human beings here. Thank you very much, Owen. I appreciate that as well. I'm Will Smith and iRobot. I can't take him seriously if this is the list they're giving me.
I would prefer the, instead of iRobot, I prefer the animated film Robots with Robin Williams, and I can't remember who else was in it.
Was that the, I'm trying to remember, Silver
it was like an animated
looking dude?
Yeah.
I know.
It wasn't Robin Williams, though, but that was more of like the... It was, when animated movies were like the big thing.
It was the rage in the 2000s, early 2000s.
Everything was in 3D, too. Didn't matter what it was. Remember the rave, too, about like Every movie needed to be in 3D.
You don't hardly see 3D anymore. Have you ever been in a 4D theater?
What's the difference?
No, I haven't. Please enlighten us, Elwin.
4D is when you can feel the effects. So, for example, I was on a cruise ship one time, and they had a little 4D theater, and I forget what the theme was. It was kind of like a roller coaster water park deal. On the screen, it'll show that you're going down into this puddle, and then water just hits everybody sitting in their seats.
I guess I have. When you go to the theme parks and you go to those rides, it's I think the Shrek, not a ride, but more
Universal?
of an attraction. Yeah, where you're in a theater and those things splash at you. So I guess I have been in a 4D experience. So yes, I have.
That new movie Twisters, I remember seeing a tweet come out where people were in these chairs that were throwing them all around for the entire. I'm like, how is this enjoyable? I feel like I'm in a car wreck getting out of the movie.
That feels like peak childhood too, of just letting your imagination run wild, and you're 7 years old or something, and you just pretend you're watching a movie and you're on the couch just moving around. Grant, I had a wild imagination as a kid, and you always try to recreate those experiences.
Not a shock.
Is that not a shock? Theater kid, all that, loves performing and everything. That's just me. Just have some fun with it. Create a new experience. We do want to talk about power ranking the months, but I'm almost debating now, because we dove into this, and I love the conversation that we had. I almost wonder if we want to hold this for Jesse Nelson, who's going to be coming up, because also, a la Jesse Nelson, who is the great producer of Wildy and Tausch, a very similar characteristic. We're a little off on the clock, and I feel like that it would be the right opportunity for us maybe to take a breather and bring in Jesse onto this conversation, talk about WIAC Wednesday, his egregious Packers take, and what he has. And I think we can save a little bit of the power rankings for the month into that next one. What do we say, boys?
I'll allow it.
All right, thank you. And Owen?
I like it.
All right.
Or should I say, I love that.
Yes, we do. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Jesse Nelson, the voice of WIAC Wednesday, coming up next.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Do you think Dad's got good Instagram game?
No. Instagram game? Oh my God.
I don't know. Are you embarrassed by me?
Sometimes. What's the most embarrassing thing your dad has ever done?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Existing. Savage.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Looking for an easy lunch or dinner win? Pizza Hut's My Hut Box lets you pick a personalized pan pizza, a melt, and now you can choose wings as your entree. Boneless or traditional wings tossed in your favorite sauce or rub. One box, tons of options, all day, every day. My Hut Box is the best personalized meal combo starting at just $6.99. Head to one of their locations, order on the app, or online at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut. Feed good times.
Grab the dial and crank it up, baby, because Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is spinning its Winning Hits collection. Over the next 3 months, you could win a share of over $1 million in prizes. On top of thousands in cash and reward play, you could win one of 3 new Ford vehicles in the grand finale drawings on March 27th. Just play with your rewards card to earn entries. Press play on the Winning Hits collection, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Love is in the air this February at Metro Kia of Madison. Hey, it's Molly Brown, and if you're ready to fall hard, meet the all-new 2026 Kia K4. Sleek looks, smart tech, and the kind of ride you'll never get tired of. This one's a keeper. Right now, you can get 3.49% APR for 48 months. That's just $22.35 per thousand finance. But hurry, this sweet deal ends March 2nd. Fall in love at Metro Kia of Madison. Visit metrokiaofmadison.com to learn more. That's metrokiaofmadison.com.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-885-5588. That's 800-885-5588.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
What a great night we have lined up here at ESPN Madison and on the ESPN Wisconsin app. We've got Prep Mania, La Follette and Brookfield East going back and forth tonight. I'll be out there with Hunter Vaughn. We'll have Hunter and Adam Mertz on the call tonight. That's going to be an exciting one. What a game last night, too, for Madison La Follette and Nia Riak, who started a comeback to lead the La Follette Lancers into the next round and playing for a regional title against Kettle Moraine. And also what's happening tonight, too, the WIAC championships continue. And joining us now, Pablo Iglesias and Wally Lukachinsky here on the Saturday Scramble is the man behind the mic for WIAC basketball, part of the inaugural WIAC Wednesday series. Owen Dimple has more on this intro here. Let it rip.
Cross has it. Chance to take the lead.
Oh, wow.
Left side. Nup. Off the glass. Yes. Can you believe it? Push. UW Lacrosse, 46. UW Oshkosh, 45 with 4 minutes to play. Push. The WIAC Women's Basketball Tournament Championship game.
Oh, man. And there it is right there with the cold open intro. He is Jesse Nelson, also producer of Wildy and Tausch Mondays through Fridays here on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Jesse, thanks for joining us, man. I know you had a long drive and appreciate you joining us this morning.
This is fun. That was we had some fun last night.
Yes, we
with the
did.
WIAC Women's Basketball Tournament Championship. Historic night. UW Lacrosse wins their first Women's Basketball Tournament Championship game ever against Oshkosh, who's been in the championship game more than anybody. They're contending for a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Lacrosse goes to their place, outscores them 16-5 in the fourth quarter to come back from down double digits in the second half to win the WIAC Tournament Championship game. We couldn't have asked for better last night. And this afternoon, 3 o'clock tip, Lacrosse and Whitewater on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Those two teams played twice this year, 3-point game both times. Road team won on the opposing team's floor. So can't wait to see what we have this afternoon for the Tournament Championship on the men's side to close out our inaugural season covering WIAC basketball across the state.
Jesse, it's exciting to see how much WIAC Wednesday, and I know we're doing it on Fridays and Saturdays now because of the championship game, which has thrown me off a little bit, but it's awesome. The series in itself throughout the regular season and the fact that we are doing this. Walk us through that process of how it was born to what it's become. As now we're doing this, covering the championship level. Tell me about the emergence, the growth, and why it's been so exciting in this first season.
So, as everyone here knows, all my Bradley Braves alums, I did not attend a WIAC school. Pablo and Owen and I, sorry, Wally, we all went to Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. And that's a D1 program. But I have a bunch of friends who went to Whitewater, and my wife and her friends went to Oshkosh, and a bunch of teammates teammates that we work with, Alex Strofe, an alum of Stevens Point, Kyle Wallace, an alum of UW-Whitewater, and that's just to name a couple. There's a bunch of them all around our company. This conference produces so many great athletes, but also so many people in our regular lives that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. There's a huge community of WIAC alums around this state, and I just wanted to present an opportunity to showcase some of these great athletes. We talk all the time and how awesome it is showcasing all this great talent that we see on Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania and in high school sports in Dodge County, on Daily Dodge TV and in ESPN Milwaukee. What do they do at the next level? A lot of times, those athletes go on to play Division III sports. Last night we saw alums from Janesville Craig and Monona Grove contending in the game. Today we're going to see a few from the area. Randolph, Sam Grieger's going to be like one of the all-time leading scorers at UW Lacrosse for men's basketball. He's from Randolph High School, Rocket.
He put a show on at state, didn't he?
He did.
He broke Sam Decker's record, or very close to it, right? I don't know if he broke them, but he came close.
He was remarkable talent in high school. And so you wonder, what do these players do at the next level? So seeing an opportunity to showcase these schools, these communities, do a little travel around the state, and for me, like, I've been to Whitewater before. I had a bunch of friends over there. I went to party a couple of times when I was in college in Whitewater.
Whitewater throws down, from what I've heard.
Depending on how it goes this afternoon, we might do that again today. But I'd never been to Menominee. I'd never been really to Eau Claire. I'd driven past it, but I'd never been to it. And so to go and experience the cities and the communities and see how integrated these schools are in these different communities around the state, that's what's been really fun and exciting for me to showcase throughout the course of these last 2 months.
One of the things that I've enjoyed most about this, too, is that we've seen over the past 30 or 40 years high school sports have blossomed and boomed, and we are getting so many more talented kids at this D3 level. This is when you watch this, you would think you're watching a D1 basketball halftime when you're sitting there as well. So this is high-level basketball that we're going to be able to see, and it sounds like lacrosse has a chance to complete the sweep.
They could. Obviously, the women's team won yesterday. The men's team could win their first WIAC tournament championship today. How about that? If they both get it done, not just the fact that they both could get it done in the same weekend, but that it would be the first one for both programs would be incredible. So, not that I'm pulling for that, because obviously Whitewater on the home floor.
I'm biased.
Of course I am. Whitewater would have. They have been in this game more than anybody on the men's side here contending this afternoon. So it's going to be a really fun dichotomy to see a team trying to win it for the first time and a team trying to win just as much as anybody has in this conference. Wally, I'm glad you brought something up here about the WIAC. It's a testament to the high school programs around this state how good this conference is. Not every D3 conference in the country is like the WIAC. It is, everyone says it's the SEC of D3 sports, and that's true. And that's on display around this entire state. And every athletic director and chancellor and head coach that I've had a chance to talk to over the last 2 months has reiterated that same point. This conference is so good. They all make each other better, and it's a testament to the high school athletes and programs around this state, because that is where the vast majority of the athletes contending at this level come from, is the high schools around the state of Wisconsin. Mike Pablo of ESPN Milwaukee was the first one that ever said the WIAC is so good because of the high school athletes around this state, and that's been so prevalent in the last 2 months covering this.
Yeah, over the years since I've been in Madison, and also from the local news side, when I got to cover the more of the Division III schools and go to your UW Whitewaters and get to touch on those schools, like the baseball side too. It's very intriguing to hear. I wanted to. You see fifth-year seniors use their extra year of eligibility from the baseball side, for instance. I wanted to come to UW Whitewater. I wanted to play here, and even Oshkosh. I wanted to come to WIAC school because I knew what their reputation was, that this is a place where winning is consistent. And it's so interesting to think about that, because, again, college sports in itself, too, blooms and blossoms in its own way. But we don't talk about Division III sports as much. And, Jesse, I love the fact that, one, we're giving this the extra platform, and two, the amount of passion that you bring behind it, too. I love the pregame videos, and I want to talk about that, too. What's been your favorite part about those that you've done?
So it really took off. I've loved going to bars and enjoying chicken wings and burgers and maybe a post-game beverage. I'm never going to shoot one of those down. But also, as I go to these different communities, I get recommendations from friends or teammates here at our ESPN Wisconsin stations who are familiar with them. Some of the coaches have now taken an interest in providing recommendations The very first one was a recommendation from Jeff Gard, Greg Gard's brother, who's the head men's basketball coach at UW Platteville. I asked him for a recommendation for a post-game meal. He gave me a little dive bar in Platteville that I was able to go check out. And then from there, in Menominee, we've got this sculpture tour. So what the heck? Let's go feature some of the sculptures that are around town. Last night, I was in Oshkosh, the EAA Air Venture Museum. I had a chance to stop in there 10 years ago and with my dad. It was awesome. I said, 15 minutes before it closed, I'm going to run in, see if I can record and do some plane puns and feature that. But it's
really winging it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That was
very well done.
Best way possible.
Very well done.
I'm ready for it to take off at some point. So.
But it's part of the fun. This isn't just basketball. The basketball on its own is fantastic. Today's game, 3 o'clock on the ESPN Wisconsin app, is going to be electric in Whitewater between La Crosse and Whitewater for the men's basketball team. But it's also the communities. It's also, I feel like I'm calling basketball games. I'm hosting Travel Wisconsin and some type of food show. Like, I'm doing all these things when I'm going to these games across the state. And that's what makes it so fun for me. And I hope that that's shared by everybody who's been able to consume, whether you're tuning in for the game or you're just checking out the videos on social media and bringing the attention to the WIAC. It's been fun.
So looking back at this first year, and you're not allowed to say last night, I'm not trying to put one venue or anything like that against each other, but has there been a moment, a game that you look back on and you're like, this is why we started this. This is special, and I'm so happy that we get to shed some light on this.
And I'm not allowed to say the 16-5 fourth quarter comeback for La Crosse to win their first championship ever last night.
That's 1A. How about 1B then?
Fair. I think the trip to Eau Claire at the end of the regular season, it was not a very good game. They got kind of blown out on their home floor. But the Sonnentag Event Center in Eau Claire is a brand new facility that D1 programs around the country would be so jealous to play in. There's a reason why Wisconsin volleyball is doing one of their spring showcase matches against Minnesota in that event center coming up here in April. It's because it's so state-of-the-art. It's so good. And meeting with some students, some broadcasting students from UW Eau Claire before that game and telling them about, essentially this conversation we're having right now, how this adventure came together, my career path and how I got to be where I am, and connecting with them and hearing the opportunities that they have, and in large part what this event center has provided them the ability to do. It shows me that the future of our industry is in good hands and in good shape, but also the WIAC is doing a bunch to support the athletes and everybody from the band to the broadcasting students to the cheerleaders and everybody involved. It all plays a part in what this program and this conference continues to build around this state.
Hey, Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky here on the Saturday Scramble. We're joined by Jesse Nelson. Jesse, before we wrap things up here, want to get into the Packers talk, but before, real quick, you can catch Jesse tonight, or rather this afternoon, 2:45 pregame show, 3 o'clock tip-off between La Crosse and Whitewater for the WIAC Men's Basketball Conference title. That's exclusively on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Very excited. Again, Jesse behind the mic, and Owen Dimple also will be behind the glass producing that.
Owen's been my guy all season long. We've been hanging out these late-night Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Next year we got to get him up and go grab a post-game brew with me when we're in Menominee and La Crosse and everywhere else around the state.
Yes, I remember actually Hunter Vaughn and I, when we came back from the Prep Mania game last night, Owen was still here putting in those extra hours, because that's how dedicated just as much as Jesse Nelson to WIAC Wednesdays. But Jesse, I want to talk about, as much as you mentioned this bench here, full strength, it's the two of you. You had something that you said about the Green Bay Packers yesterday on Wilde and Tausch about if they were full strength or what happens if this, a lot of X, Y's, and Z's, but it was egregious of where you came from, and I need you to defend your case.
First, I don't understand why everyone says this was so egregious yesterday. I just can't get
an abomination. Is that a better word?
No, it's worse, I think. Snowman when I hear abomination, I guess. But, okay.
The abomination snowman?
Abominable snowman. I get
Close
what you're doing.
enough.
Thanks, Wally. I knew you always had my back. All right. The Packers were not as good when Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft were hurt. No. Can we all agree on that? When you're missing two of maybe your top 5 players of the season that are most important to what you do, the team isn't going to be as good. Can we all be in agreement, at least in that general basic fact?
Yes, at this point, I'm with you.
So, to me, when you're saying, are the Packers a championship caliber team, this all started, we were looking at the report cards yesterday. I was filling in for Jason hosting the Tausch. We were talking about the report cards and what it said about Matt LaFleur, and it's spiraled into this discussion of, are the Packers a championship caliber team? Absolutely they are. When Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons are on the field, that team was 9-3-1, and despite the bad loss to the Browns, despite the tie with the Cowboys, and despite the terrible game against the Carolina Panthers in which Tucker Kraft got hurt, and by the way, that survey that you guys have been talking about came out that day. So if you want to talk about a bad time for players to fill it up, they're doing it right when it comes in your inbox, which I'd guess many of them are. Tucker Kraft goes down, you lose to the Panthers, your offense looks inept, you score 7 points the following Monday against the Eagles at home. LaFleur's on the sideline drawing up plays in the dirt, trying to figure it out with his back to the field. Yeah, no blank you're going to fill out a B- for Matt LaFleur. I think a B- might be generous given that situation of what was happening in those 2 weeks. Despite those losses, despite the Browns loss, they were 9-3-1 and in a position to earn the number 1 seed in the NFC until Micah Parsons goes down and Christian Watson against the Denver Broncos on that fateful Sunday afternoon in Denver on December 14th. And they don't win a game the rest of the way.
You brought up the Tucker Kraft thing. I'm interested, though, because, yes, he got hurt in that Carolina Panther game. And, yeah, first of all, by the way, if it's in my inbox on November 2nd, I'm filling it out on December 11th. I'm telling you that right now.
When's my deadline?
That's exactly what I'm looking at. But to your point, yes, they were bummed out that Tucker Kraft gets hurt in that game. But at the same point, they were at that 9-3-1 spot when you are filling it out to be one of the lowest grades out of all the head coaches. Because B- at surface level looks fine. But when you realize how the head coaches typically grade, it's one of the lowest in the NFL. How do you kind of justify that?
I recall a bunch of our shows saying Matt LaFleur was coaching for his job on November 16th when the Packers played against the New York Giants. I remember a lot of phone calls on Green Bay game night with Homer and Tausch post-game after that Carolina loss, after the Browns loss, after the Philadelphia Eagles loss on Monday night, calling for Matt LaFleur's job. That goes without saying what happened at the end of the season against the Bears in those games. So, yeah, the rumblings were there all along. I think there's a segment of the population of Packers fans, and I think it's partly inspired because many of us are also Badger football fans, and the thing to do that's cool these days is every time the team has a bad performance, just call for the coach's job, get him out of here.
Yeah, I feel like that's society as a whole, too, right now. Matt, we need to change that.
I understand why you want to make the argument that Matt LaFleur is not able to get this team to the heights that he needs to get them to reach. If you want to make the Ned Yost comparison with the Milwaukee Brewers back in the mid-2000s, Ned Yost took a really young team and got them to the contention for the playoffs, but wasn't the guy that could get them over the hump to elevate to the next level. If you want to make that argument, I can listen to that. But to say that we should just fire the coach because the team stinks and isn't a championship caliber team, that's crap. When they were 9-3-1 and in contention to win the number 1 seed before the player who was the most important in the sport acquired a week and a half before the season started, traded multiple future first-round draft picks to get him on your team as a difference maker, as a force, in the prime of his career. When he's gone for the rest of the year, of course your team is going to change. Your dynamic's going to change. And that's the argument I was making yesterday, and I don't understand why there was so much backlash to that point.
I still feel like that. I get what you're saying, and I appreciate you opening up about this, but I feel like that from my understanding of this was, the injuries and everything that just total sideways. If everybody was healthy, they would have been a completely different team, which, again, I agree to an extent. But Wally has also said teams play 17 games across the league. But my other side of it, too, and thinking about where Micah Parsons was when he tore his ACL in the Chicago game. They show him in the suite. Why is he not on the sidelines? And granted, again, he's on the crutches. Those impacts, granted, they can't make the impact on the field, but can they still affect the locker room? Can they still be those leaders? And that's where I question, again, yeah, you don't have these impact players on the field, but they can still make an impact. And where was that impact? Where I'm sure they were talking to the guys, and at least from public media and what they had said, that's my question from there, is that why couldn't that impact have carried over? And I know it's a hard question to answer, but that's my concern, and that's what I think of right now.
I don't know if it's fair to question Micah Parsons being in the suite during the game. I think Tausch asked Jason a couple of weeks ago on our show. He said, "Who is the most vocal leader of this team? Who is the leader of the Green Bay Packers?" And Jason didn't even flinch, saying it's Micah Parsons. That's the guy that everybody looks to, and that's their leader. That's the guy that is kind of
thank God,
carrying the bell. And it was interesting that it wasn't Jordan Love, but I think knowing what we know about Jordan Love, he's kind of a softer-spoken guy. That's just kind of who he is. He's not going to be that guy that everybody looks to in that moment. Micah Parsons, hosts a podcast. I hope he gets that podcast going pretty soon again.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what he has to say. But he's very vocal. He's very open. And he's that leader, and he proves it with his performance on the field. That just shows even further. Tucker Kraft said at the end of last year, remember? He said, we need more leadership. We need someone who's going to be out here and carrying everybody forward with them. He wanted to be that guy, and he did elevate to that. And he was getting the national recognition until he got hurt against the Panthers. Those two guys, plus, by the way, your best offensive lineman, Zach Tom, also wasn't on the field down the stretch of the season in that playoff game.
Fair.
So you look at all that and you say, are the Packers a championship caliber team? When they all get back here next year, of course they're a championship caliber team.
Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. He is Jesse Nelson. Jesse, appreciate your time. Actually, real quick, we did ask ChatGPT on the last side. The Green Bay Packers are Slytherin. You came in here saying that the Green Bay Packers are unequivocally Gryffindor.
Yeah, ChatGPT watched the movies. It didn't read the books.
Thank you.
Gryffindor is all about bravery and tradition and history. That is epitomizing the Green Bay Packers to a T. I could imagine a bunch of people wearing the Gryffindor colors at a Green Bay Packers game in the stands. I wouldn't think twice. Yeah, that's about right.
Well, and every football fan that's a Packers fan is going to walk in the room and tell you he's a Packers fan. Every Gryffindor is going to walk in and tell you that they're a proud Gryffindor.
Exactly.
That's the
there's
thing.
a little smugness to it. We still own you. The Bears still suck. All that. It is what it is. It's
Gryffindor.
And at the same time, the Bears are Slytherin because they're just trying to get under everybody's skin. They're cunning. They're manipulative. I love the Draco Malfoy, Caleb Williams comparison. I think that is spot on to a T.
That's horrendous.
The Vikings
That's
are
abhorrent.
The Vikings are Ravenclaw. The Vikings are Ravenclaw because, they're still around. They're still relevant. You know who they are in the book, but not as much as the others. And the Detroit Lions, we'll bring you in. You're Hufflepuff.
Happy losers.
Up until 2 years ago, everybody kind of loved the Lions. And it's sure. We don't hate them as much as we hate the other ones.
They're Cedric Diggory. They are. Look at us. We finally have made it. We're going to the NFC Championship. We have a 2-score lead over the 49ers. Surely nothing can go wrong. They are Hufflepuff.
It's all about how you frame the narrative, I guess. It's all about how you view the story.
I like to imagine Roger Goodell as Dumbledore, kind of announcing all the draft picks on stage.
Just in the Great Hall,
and then
sorting hat for each player.
And
Where
then
you going?
Day 2, Professor McGonagall comes out.
Then you get
the new Defense of the Dark Arts teacher on
Gilderoy
day 3.
Lockhart,
The 77th pick of the NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Brody Stevens from Oklahoma State.
Oh, that was good.
Mel Kiper. I love the swish and flick on this guy. It's fantastic.
Potions. Oh my gosh. Jesse Nelson joining us on the Saturday Scramble. Jesse, you got a game to get ready for 2:45 tip-off, or 2:45 pregame, I should say, 3 o'clock. Jesse Nelson, though, joining us once again here. The voice of WIAC Wednesdays moving over to Friday and Saturday for the conference.
McGonagall, by the way.
Yes, and voice extraordinaire as
Can't wait.
well.
It's going to be a really fun game this afternoon. I hope everybody has a chance to check it out with me on the ESPN Wisconsin app. 2 top 25 teams. They're going to be in the NCAA D3 tournament. The WIAC has been loaded this year. There have been 5 teams separated by basically 1 game all season long. These are the 2 that happen to be the 1 and the 2 seed that are contending here in the conference tournament championship game. I hope everybody has a chance to join me. It's going to be a ton of fun, electric environment in Whitewater. Hope you check us out.
Once again, you can find that on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Jesse Nelson, 3 o'clock tip-off. Very excited for that. Jesse, we'd love to keep you on to get riled up with us, but you got to get a game got to get ready for a game, so we'll let you go. This also feels very Wildy and Tausch-esque. Yeah. We did not plan to have you on for almost 20 minutes.
Me. Huh.
Yeah, I wonder who the outlier is and what.
We always thought it was Tausch. Maybe it's me.
You wonder, right? You wonder and try to figure that out. Anyway, he's Jesse Nelson. Jesse, thanks again for your time. Excited to hear you on the WIAC call. Excited for that game tonight. You can hear him once again on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky. We are continuing the Saturday Scramble next, and it is time, even though our guys over at the Kohl Center, somehow, some way, thanks to the magic of technology, we are still getting riled up. That's coming up next here on the Saturday Scramble.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Buying a new vehicle should be exciting, and that's what Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb aims to do. That's why they vow to give you the better buying experience. Jim Rutledge here. I've had 3 better buying experiences at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, and I keep on going back because the experience and the Chevy is fantastic. So if you're looking for a buying experience you're going to want to repeat anytime you need a new or new-to-you vehicle, I recommend you make the short drive out to Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, because you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
At Hard Rock Casino Rockford, the unforgettable experience goes far beyond the casino floor with the luxury of their dining and entertainment. Savor prime cuts and fresh seafood at Council Oaks Steak and Seafood, or explore 7 unique dining venues that deliver flavors from around the world. Then let the night ignite at Hard Rock Live, where the world's greatest acts take the stage. Hard Rock Casino Rockford, let's hard rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
They say punters are people too, especially on KBN.
Brian Gutekunst is going to have his best offseason of his entire career. I've been thinking about roster development lately and what Goody has in store for him. And I don't see any way this team can become a title contender unless Goody has the best offseason of his whole career.
Kyle, Brust, and Nordman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I worried about choosing the right two-year college where credits would transfer to UW, but I figured out a great path. At Madison College, I'm in the STEM program. The classrooms are intimate, instructors are engaging, and best of all, I'll be able to transfer to UW debt-free. My advice to others, start your journey here. You won't regret it. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honey's to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honey's experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
Hi, it's Dave from Canopy Wealth Management. Many people are balancing retirement planning, college costs, and caring for aging parents, often all at once. With extensive experience, the Canopy team has helped others navigate these same challenges and can be a trusted thought partner as you prioritize what matters most. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's our promise. Get started today at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
As a mom, I'm glad my son plays school sports. It's where he has fun with his friends. He contributes to the team. Oh, and he stays out of trouble.
Support your school's athletic programs. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
What an exciting game, 2 games really on the ESPN Wisconsin app and also one on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Prep Mania tonight, and also Jesse Nelson, who is joining us in the last segment. He will be the voice of the WIAC Men's Championship between UW Whitewater and UW La Crosse. Thanks again to Jesse for joining us on the Saturday Scramble. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky filling in for Riley Yauk as he is calling WIAA State Wrestling action with the grapplers over at the Kohl Center. But don't worry, thanks to modern technology, we still get to continue our favorite segment with our man Riley Yauk, where it's time to get, the hot takes here, the fiery opinions there. Gentlemen, Wally, let's get riled up. And of course,
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And of course, because he is at the Kohl Center and not really parts unknown, he is just a little bit away from us, but calling the game from afar or calling the shots of Riled Up from afar. He has recorded something for us. Owen Dimple has that queued up, ready to go. You can see that on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and you can also hear it across here on ESPN, 100.5 ESPN, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
What up, fellas? For today's Riled Up, you know what I'm riled up about? Miami of Ohio.
Here we go.
They just won on a buzzer beater. I think it was last night. They're 29-0, and there's some people who think they still shouldn't be in the tournament. That is absolutely insane, and I hate you if you think that. That is ridiculous. That is disrespectful to the game of basketball, specifically college basketball. What are we doing? Miami of Ohio should be like a 4 seed. This is ridiculous. I hate it. I'm heading to the Kohl Center. I'm suited up. We're ready for another fantastic day of wrestling. I know you guys had a great show. Let's go.
I love how sharp he looks. Thank you so much, Riley Yauk. And that is our Riled Up portion. And it's time for us to keep the conversation going for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks and why they need to be a force to be reckoned with. Just because, look, you know what? You're undefeated. Keep it rolling. That's the beauty of what March is all about. If you think that a team that has won has a 0 in their loss column, doesn't belong in the tournament at all, they have proven that they can still, even if it's in their conference, dominate. Give them a shot. Give them a shot just because it's like Butler. Butler made it to back-to-back championships. Could this be the next Butler that could be in the making? We don't know until we give them a shot. You have to give them a chance at the very least. So I'm with Riley on this one. Wally, what do you say?
They have to be in. I will say I'm nervous because every time you look at the Miami Redhawks, they're in a dogfight, like an absolute knife fight in these basketball games. That feels like that they're going to be walking on a little bit of thin ice when you get to the MAC tournament. So I pray that they put them in regardless. Because if they go out there and they finish the year 32-1 or 31-2, they should be in regardless. I'm going to push back on Riley a little bit. A 4 seed? Can we dial it back a little bit?
Owen Dimple's also nodding his head back there. It seems like we're all in unison there. Riley, love you. Always love the passion. Don't know if Miami is a 4 seed because I get it. If you're in the top 25 and you want to do the math from there, it's like, all right, what seed would you be? You'd be somewhere in those 4 to 5 ranges. That's not how it's going to work out here.
If I beat up a bunch of 4-year-olds, I shouldn't be the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
You're really going with the music here. We're not talking about, wailing on children here, okay?
I'm just trying to equate it. MAC basketball isn't exactly high-level play.
Whoa, hey! You're doubting MACtion like that? I know it's more football, but MACtion is universal.
MACtion is universal?
MACtion is universal. That's a buzzer-beater win. This team remains almost perfect.
Well, they are perfect
They
at
are
this
perfect.
point.
They're perfect, so that's why they need to be in the bracket.
I agree with that.
They need to be in the bracket.
Healthy 7.
Oh, and you feel like I feel like there's something on your chest, too, that you want to get off here.
I believe I saw something that their schedule, they've only played 1 total quad 1 game.
Okay. How is that their fault? How is
Play
that their
somebody.
How is that their fault though? Other than the fact that it's like you try to schedule early on in the season. What, you want to call Duke in March? You want to call them in February? Hey, we got a slot
anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, anytime, anywhere. We'll come to Cameron Indoor for a non-conference in February. That's not how this works. We went to mid-major schools, so when you know how scheduling works, put it at the early start of the season. If you want to be the Loyolas and have those Cinderella runs and you want to be the Butlers, this is how you prove yourself. You get yourself into the tournament, and then that's where it happens. You can't just flip the script. Loyola, granted, the Final Four year, they beat Florida in Gainesville, so I'll give them that. They scheduled that game. They knew that they could do something big. But you want to know something? Maybe this is just that one match that starts the fire for Miami. This could be the one where year over year, this is where they start scheduling bigger games for them now.
Or you get an example or you get an example like Indiana State a couple years ago where they lost the MVC tournament title game to Drake. Drake got the automatic bid. Indiana State did not go to the NCAA tournament. They were a top 25 ranked team at one point that year, just like Miami, Ohio was ranked 21st right now.
I tell you how this story is going to end, and I hate to be the bad guy here. They're going to lose to Akron in the MAC championship. They're going to make this, whether it's like a 10 or an 11 seed, and they're going to play a 11-loss big school, and they're going to lose by 15 in the first round.
Hey, there's only one way to find out. I still think going back to it, assuming they win their conference tournament, which is very similar to the Missouri Valley. Owen and I know that you got to win that tournament. Shout out Bradley. Move over just a little bit, actually. Show the camera over. You were, give me one step to the right. Keep going. One more. There it is. Yeah, go Braves, baby.
And did you know, Pablo? The Miami, Ohio roster has one former Bradley Brave.
Hit me.
Almar Atlason.
Oh, you could have said words than me.
You're
You're deeper into the Bradley lore than me, but I love it. I love to hear that there's some Bradley Braves magic here with the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. But Riley, I'm partly with you. Don't believe that they're a 4 seed. Sounds like we're all in unison at the very least. Assuming you win the conference tournament, you're in. Everybody that has a magical season deserves to dance, man.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, that's just not the case where, you believe it's more than 68 teams, which also just feels egregious in itself, too. 68 teams. I never really liked the play-in tournaments.
I'm with you.
I love the 64 element to it, but you know what? I'm not the one making the decisions here. I'm just the one consuming and loving college basketball at this time of the year, too. So, it's fun. Put them in the tournament. See what happens, because you never know. You never know until you put in some parity. You got to challenge these big schools, and you got to make sure that everybody stays on their toes. If they really want to be a national champion, they got to prove they could beat anyone, anytime, any place.
Tears will be in Oxford, Ohio in 3 weeks.
One shining moment. You got to give the Redhawks at the very least their one shining moment. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky, this is the Saturday Scramble. We're wrapping up the rest of the show. Maybe we'll talk about some months. Maybe we'll figure out what the Hufflepuff discussion, all of that's in after this break. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky, this is the Saturday Scramble. We're wrapping it up after this.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Pro volleyball lives in Madison. Love Madison, Wisconsin's professional women's volleyball team brings premier talent, elite competition, and non-stop intensity to every match. Featuring world-class athletes in high-energy action from start to finish, this is volleyball at the highest level. See elite professional sports right here in Madison. Purchase tickets today at lovmad.com/tickets. That's lovmad.com/tickets.
It starts with a spin, and suddenly, you're not just looking at a screen. You're looking at your winnings. But what would you do with them? Imagine a bubbling private oasis. No noise, no schedule. Just you and the view. From imagination to celebration. What would you do with your winnings? Find out today at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The movie Love Actually. Growing up, I loved that movie. And then recently, as a whole adult, I was like, what do you mean your best friend, while you're inside the house, is ringing your doorbell and holding up poster boards, trying to swoop in on your wife, saying, I love you?
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ben Brust here, and let's cut the crap. I've been sold a lie with sportswear, too. You pay a fortune for big-name gear, a fancy logo, a slogan, and it still stinks. Iron Jock doesn't play that game. Silver ion technology is woven into every thread, killing 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria. And now, through March 8th, our listeners can get 40% off all Iron Jock t-shirts and polos with the code SPRING40. That's code SPRING40. Shop now at ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Love is in the air this February at Metro Kia of Madison. Hey, it's Molly Brown, and if you're ready to fall hard, meet the all-new 2026 Kia K4. Sleek looks, smart tech, and the kind of ride you'll never get tired of. This one's a keeper. Right now, you can get 3.49% APR for 48 months. That's just $22.35 per thousand finance. But hurry, this sweet deal ends March 2nd. Fall in love at Metro Kia of Madison. Visit metrokiaofmadison.com to learn more. That's metrokiaofmadison.com.
Getting you back to doing what you love is the #1 priority of Stoughton Health Rehab and Sports Medicine Clinics in both Oregon and Stoughton. With physical, occupational, and speech therapy, we can provide care with no referral needed. Plus, we now accept over 160 area insurance plans, including Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, Dean Health Plan, Humana, Quartz, and more. For more information, visit stoughtonhealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
This is the Saturday Scramble, and we are wrapping things up. Oh, I took my hat off, and I forgot. I realized I did that as we popped up here on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Pablo Iglesias, Wally Lukachinsky filling in for Riled. Thank you so much for joining us, Wally. We had a mess of different things to talk about. The Packers report card, Jesse Nelson joining us, the Harry Potter houses, and where Hogwarts is amongst the NFC North, which ended up being a massive debate throughout the entire show, which I loved. So, Wally, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you had fun today here in the Saturday Scramble.
I had a blast. Thank you both for having me. Looking forward to hopefully being back here before too long.
Yeah, no, we will make sure that we keep you on the bench. Owen Dimful, too. Dimps, our producer behind the glass. Very appreciative of this. We ended up not getting to power ranking the months, but we got a little bit of combine talk here, boys. I want to talk about this, though, real quick. The combine going on. If you were to compete in one event, and give you one event only, what would you do? And which one would you succeed or thrive in the most? Wally, we'll start with you. Our guest goes first.
At this stage of life, I don't think I would do well in any of these events, so I'm just trying to think about self-preservation. I think I've got a 40-yard dash in me. It'd be an awful time, but I think it'd be better.
We did do it last year.
We did, and for being a big fella, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm pushing 3 bills. So to put that out there, I thought I did pretty well at the 40-yard dash. Or was that 40, or was it a little shy of 40?
I don't know. Some felt a little sus about that. I don't know if we got enough times. Apparently, I was accused of having a false start.
But the video's out there, Pablo.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's we could say whatever we want. I felt like I put my best foot forward there, but it wasn't enough against Corey Sparks. The three of us getting to do that, but still fun no matter what. Does interviews count? Can I say I would thrive in interviews?
I would be right there with you.
Owen's saying no to that.
I'm not counting that. I gotta hear like the actual athletic event. From
you. See, I would love to try bench press, but I know I can't do 225. I think my max is 185. I think actually Owen has the video that I sent him. I don't know if he can get that up on the YouTube channel. If you can, awesome. If not, no worries. But let's see. 40-yard. I'm not fast. I know I'm not flashy. Bench press. I'm working on upper body. I would actually, you know what? I would love to try the vertical jump.
I was gonna guess broad jump for you.
Broad jump. I don't know if I could jump, or like the forward jump is the thing, but just high, like just this quad squat is what our CrossFit gym intramural team is called for the CrossFit Open, and I know these bad boys here. Quad squat is where we're at.
Quadzilla.
So that's what I would go with. I'd love to be at Quadzilla level. Well, he's Wally Lukachinsky. I'm Pablo Iglesias. For Owen Dimful behind the glass. Coming up next, it's Virginia and Duke college basketball. Also, don't forget Brewers Reds spring training coming up. WIAC as well in the ESPN Wisconsin app and Prep Mania. This has been the Saturday Scramble 100.5 ESPN. Te quiero mucho. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Love is in the air this February at Metro Ford of Madison. And if you're ready for a relationship that can handle anything, meet the 2025 Bronco Sport. Right now,